Hello and welcome to the Film Focus Online podcast. I am your host, Alex, and we are here today to have another edition of the Film Vault. That is right. Two Film Focus writers are going to go head to head to decide which film in a certain category will get put into our illustrious Film Vault. And we're building up quite a nice collection. We've started off with Jerry Maguire, and then at the Grand Budapest Hotel. So we're doing some great work. But joining me to tussle, tumble, and rumble today are Jack and Dan. Jack, hello.
Hello. Can't get over the intro still.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm ready to tussle, tumble, and rumble. That's what
I
I'm
don't know
ready for.
why I was using words like illustrious.
No, it's good. It's like a
like
a superhero battle. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, no, I'm good. Happy to be here to talk about some comic book movies and put them head to head.
Nice. Hi, Dan.
Hello.
How are you?
I mean, I'm happy to be here, but I'm also considering walking into traffic every waking moment.
He's going to derail the whole thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I empathize with you, to be honest. Anyway, moving on. Today's category is, well, let's just say we're in the throes of summer blockbuster season. We have already had one major superhero blockbuster, comic book blockbuster with Superman, and we are anticipating, or by the time this comes out, probably will already have it, is the Fantastic Four film as well. The first Fantastic Four
that again?
in like 10 years. Fantastic Four? What?
That's fantastic.
He's referencing that 20.
Oh, for God's sake. I haven't seen
What?
that film.
How have you not seen that? The best film of the past decade.
I now know what you mean.
I was waiting for him to...
It's clocked now, but I've only ever seen that moment from that film on like a meme clip. I've never seen it actually in the context of the film.
So you understand it's 5 stars.
It's close to 5 for that line alone.
If one of you was arguing for that to be put into the Film Vault today, you'd probably just probably get like an automatic loss. So.
Ridiculous.
But yes, the point being is that today's category is comic book movies. We're going to do superhero, but then we thought, you know what? Open it up to the endless possibilities. So first we're going to get you to pitch your films initially, and then we're going to go through all the categories, including narrative, the cast and performances, the visuals, your favourite scenes, and also the wildcard category. And then I alone, because we don't have Elliot here today, I will decide which film gets to be inducted into Film Focus Online's Film Vault. So let's just get right into it. Jack, what have you picked? What have you brought? What are we doing?
Going off the theme of Superman just coming out on Friday last week, I went for The Suicide Squad by James Gunn, the much better version than the 2016 one that we got. And
David
well, that wasn't
version.
the real cut. We have not seen the Ayer cut.
We have not seen the Ayer cut. So I went for that to go on a bit of a James Gunn DC theme, and it's one of my favorite comic book movies. So, and I think it's kind of underrated as well. I know people like it, but like when it's like up there when people mention the greatest like comic book movies, it doesn't really get noticed, and I think it should be.
Nice.
It's only been 3 years.
Yeah.
Wait, did that come out in 2022?
4 years.
21.
Yeah.
21, yeah.
Damn. I mean, that's still kind of crazy.
Yeah.
My unpopular opinion probably is that the Ayer cut doesn't exist, and he just tried to surf on the coattails of Zack Snyder to try and get a cut.
I think
there is a soulful masterpiece out there.
David Ayer's soulful masterpiece.
Yeah. It's going to be 4 hours long and in black and white and be absolutely pretentiously awful. Okay, so Dan, moving on.
Why did you just compare it to The Irishman?
That's only 3 hours long, actually. So. Anyway, Dan, what have you picked today?
I've also gone for an adult-rated, underrated comic book film from 15 years ago, which is Kick-Ass,
Nice.
which is one that, in the wake of like Deadpool, sort of stole its thunder. No one really talks about it much anymore when it's a lot sharper, better, and does a lot more with a tinier budget.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And it's got one of the last good Nicolas Cage performances before he went to VOD.
That is very true.
Well, I'm sure that a lot of people will be incredibly furious that you just.
But he did. That was like one of his last big cinema releases before he went fully VOD.
Yeah, yeah. Hasn't he like started doing cinema releases again? Or
Yeah. I meant like that was like one of the last before his VOD period started. Then now it's finally, thankfully, wrapping up.
kind of like come back a little bit. Let's get right on into the categories, and we're going to start off with narrative. So, Jack, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so this is a not sort of a reboot, but a sort of sequel reboot, whatever they call them. It's set within some of the same canon as the original Suicide Squad, and basically sees the team of mercenaries and killers and convicts get brought out by Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. She brings them out of their prison to basically go on covert missions for the government, and they're completely expendable. So if they die, doesn't matter. And if they disobey her, there's a bomb that's implanted in their heads that detonates if they disobey. And this particular mission, they have to go to Corto Maltese to stop Project Starfish. I've got to be so careful when I say in this.
Let's be honest, Stallone in The Expendables, better film.
Stallone is much better as King Shark.
I
I'll
forgot
have
he
you
was.
know.
Yeah, Jesus, because I watched it last week as well.
Yeah. Yeah. See, already. See,
Yeah, we're not
This is-
even on
this
that
is this
category
movie.
yet. So,
I'm not even on that category yet, and I'm already schooling you.
so I don't even know what's going on. I'm like, okay, right. So, what is it that you what are your favorite things about the narrative? What is it that draws you into it?
For me, it's just a far more like character focused version of the original, whereas the original sort of relied on literally quick fire introductions with flashy like decals and imagery and stuff to sort of just quickly establish who everyone was with little profiles. This is a far more like James Gunn's known for sort of getting like a load of misfits and morally ambiguous characters and sort of making you love them. And I think this version of the Suicide Squad is like absolutely nails that. You actually care about the characters and what's going on, as well as balancing it being like a full on homage to like 80s action flicks and lots of like over the top comic booky spectacle and scientific research experiments. It's sort of a perfect blend of sci-fi, gritty action, and a real focus like on characters and the story. And it's quite a long film at like 2 hours 20 or something. It's pretty long, but it doesn't feel it at all. It's like pretty much like perfectly divided up into different chapters, just like a comic book. And yeah, I just think taking what is quite a sort of trashy like action premise like the Expendables, but then making you actually care about all the characters deeply and like perfectly fit into this world, I think it absolutely nails.
And you're saying The Expendables doesn't do that?
Well, Expendables 4 does.
Right, moving on, Dan.
Yeah. Kick-Ass takes the superhero trope and says, "What if these fuckers had no powers?" And it is a nice twist on the genre. Got a nerdy kid who likes comic books, decides one day, what if I bought a wetsuit online and just start going around trying to fight bums?
It's literally me.
Yeah. Eventually, he gets involved with people who actually are dangerous and murder criminals. In Nicolas Cage and his daughter, who is a 12-year-old psychopath who drops C-bombs and slices people open. And and then a local crime boss, played by Mark Strong, wants to have them all killed because they're destroying his business. And Nicolas Cage has got personal beef with him. And it sort of escalates and gets more violent and action heavy as it goes on. Because it starts off as sort of like a super bad like crass comedy, and then it just by the end it is just a full-blown gory, violent, insane body count action film.
Yep. No, definitely.
Yeah, that's all. That's
You got, yep.
that was the pitch.
That's the pitch. Nice. Right. So moving on, we're going to talk about the cast and the performances. So Jack, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much like a perfect all-star lineup. Like you've got big name actors like Margot Robbie, Viola Davis, John Cena, Idris Elba. You've got so many like great mainstream stars, and then also sort of lesser, not as big actors like Joel Kinnaman, David Dasmalchian, and I've forgotten her name, Daniela Melchior, who plays Ratcatcher 2. Like a real mishmash of like lots of famous faces and then like underrated, lesser known and lesser mentioned performers. And I think everyone here is pretty much perfectly cast. Like I will say what you will about that previous Suicide Squad movie, but obviously the casting of Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was perfect. Viola Davis is like a real force to be reckoned with as Amanda Waller, and they both carry over like those absolutely perfect portrayals in this film here. But then you also get John Cena in pretty much like I think his best role as Peacemaker that was so good that he got his own spin-off show and like is going to get a season 2 of that. He also sort of carries kind of like a lot in the dramatic scenes as well. You've got that amazing sort of face-off between him and Rick Flag, which is like shows Cena's like kind of dramatic kind of potential that he has instead of just being like sort of big kind of big overly comic relief and like big screen presence. Idris Elba is like a great kind of father figure to Daniela Melchior as Ratcatcher too, because obviously he's like his character's dealing with his estranged daughters, and then you got Joel Kinnaman, who was pretty much generic military dude in the first film, is like given way more of a personality here. David Dasmalchian, who I mentioned, who I think is great in like a load of the films that he pops up in. He was amazing in Late Night with the Devil, where he finally got like a proper lead role. But he's like really twisted and disturbed and like tragic character as Polka Dot Man here with his strange outlook on how he sees his mother. And then obviously you've got Sylvester Stallone voicing King Shark, which, you know, what more can I say? King Shark is a shark. And yeah, it's just a brilliant all-star lineup of memorable cast members who all just click perfectly as the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I think it's a testament really to James Gunn's talent as like just as a writer.
He knows who to cast.
Yeah, and as like a curator of these kind of comic book movies in terms of like picking these specific characters that on paper you kind of think, oh well, this is stupid and is not going to work at all. But then when it kind of translates over to the screen, you kind of have these fully realized three-dimensional characters that you actually kind of by towards the end, you know, you really care about. Although I will say
exactly like the Guardians.
That I think I prefer Margot Robbie's performance as Black Widow. No, as
What?
Harley Quinn in Birds of Prey.
She is great in that as well. And I think
I need to rewatch that. I don't think I've seen
I
it
need
since
to
it came
rewatch that
out.
as well. Actually, I because that was like a just before COVID release, and I remember seeing it like one of the last big ones. Yeah, I've rewatched it since, but I haven't seen it for a while. But I think she's like sort of gets to obviously after the Joker breakup in that film, gets to sort of flex more.
I think
Harley's
like,
emotional side.
you know, in Birds of Prey, she's fiercely independent and she's kind of like you say getting over that breakup with Joker, and then it almost feels like
she's fully over it.
Yeah, it almost feels like in the Suicide Squad she kind of recedes a little bit back into how she was. But yeah, no. So I think overall, like obviously my kind of qualms with Harley Quinn's characterization in the Suicide Squad, I think the overall the characters and the cast are very strong. So yeah.
Nice.
Dan, Kick-Ass.
Okay, yeah. So you got Aaron Taylor Johnson before he was groomed by a woman old enough to be his grandmother,
and became the most iconic comic book character of all time.
That's true. Craven. Before he was Craven, he was Dave Lazuski. He perfectly captures that nerdy, everyman, sort of like in-betweeners, sort of just, you know, terrible with women. only has a close group of friends, and they just spend days in comic books, and then he gets pulled into a world he really wasn't ready for. Then you got surrounding him, you got Nicolas Cage as a Batman-esque vigilante doing an insane Adam West Batman impression, while also getting some action chops while absolutely slaughtering people. Like you got that amazing warehouse scene. But he also has a lot of warmth for his daughter, who he genuinely cares for, despite raising her to be an insane killing machine. You got Mark Strong, he's doing his usual bald-headed villain, who's not afraid to murder kids and innocent people. And this is a Mark Strong villain, it's usual thing, but he still does it really well. Got Christopher Mintz-Plasse. Yeah, he's doing the whiny rich boy brat who's also a really big nerd. He just wants to make his dad proud, but doing it in all the wrong ways. But then you got the real star coming out of nowhere with Grace Moretz's Hit Girl. Just out of nowhere, just dropping C-bombs. Her opening scene of her getting shot in the chest with a bulletproof vest on. There's a bit of bonding with Nicolas Cage. And then she just steals the whole show. Just gets the most action, kills the most people, and just does it with a lot of charisma, and like putting in a child performance that outshines probably most.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. She's incredible in that film, and I think like it was kind of the birth of one of a great movie star. And yeah, I mean, Nicolas Cage in that film is just on another level. I almost feel as though he kind of he'd been given a script for like this weirdly insane like dark thriller or something or just the way that he like approached the character is just mad.
Yeah, I was reading it was supposed to be Daniel Craig originally, because obviously Matthew Vaughn had worked with him on Layer Cake.
Yeah,
but
I can actually see that.
I couldn't imagine Craig doing that compared to Cage.
no,
I can not compared to Cage. I could see him trying it, but yeah, I think Nicolas Cage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Craig was busy with that franchise no one watches.
yep. So we're never going to do one of those on the Film Vault.
That would that be a Bond actor or Bond films against each
I
other?
feel like it would be. Oh well, it could be both. It'd be kind of mean putting an actor into a vault, though, wouldn't it, for the rest of their lives? But
Yeah.
anyway,
Pitch that.
it's time to move on to the next category, which is visuals, cinematography. So, Jack, the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, so it's far more vibrant and colourful and stylish than the previous film. James Gunn brings all his usual bag of tricks, like the spinning 360 cameras, the IMAX lenses. He also does these really cool scene sort of chapter transitions where within the environment it will say the name of the next part of the Suicide Squad's journey, like in the sort of setting, if you see what I mean, which I think is perfectly just like a comic book panel come to life. I mentioned at the start, like the plot feels like sort of an old school, big, bombastic 80s action flick, and like the reliance on practical effects and loads of blood and gore and spectacle, like perfectly fits that. And also, it's one of like the best looking films when it comes to like CGI in comic book films, because Starro, the big creature at the end, looks fantastic still, like looks amazing. Idris Elba's character Bloodsport, his armor that sort of materialized over him, the nanotech armor looks great. Obviously, you got King Shark, who, like Groot and Rocket, like James Gunn knows how to do the motion capture for animals, and Weasel, of course, as well. Can't forget Weasel.
My boy.
I know I know it had like a pricey budget, but like I don't think compared to other films that look far worse, I don't think it's on like that level of budget, but I think it looks fantastic. I think it's colorful, it's vibrant, it's great. There's so many cool, stylish shots, and it just perfectly translates the comic book to screen in all of its glory. And also, I think especially with sort of heavy practical effects, like making it feel really tangible and like real, especially in like this sort of heightened, crazy, like sci-fi inflicted world. I think it just really impressively hits the blend of big blockbuster CGI along with that sort of gritty practical side of things, which James Gunn started off in sort of more practical and street level and like gory horror stuff with Slither and and some Super. and he brings that here on a big blockbuster scale.
Superman.
Well, it's funny you should bring it up because again, Superman has kind of. I mean, I found it pretty visually good to look at, and I think a lot of people kind of praising how he has this very distinctive style, and I think color is a really kind of big part of that for him, and I do completely agree. Dan.
Okay, yeah. In all honesty, with Kick-Ass, the visuals are probably the weakest part because it was low budget and independently made, and the CGI is not great, and there's a lot of like CGI blood and stuff. But it does make up for it with Matthew Vaughn's style, which he brings out massively in some scenes that do look great, like the strobe scene, the way the editing when Nicolas Cage is taking out the warehouse, but it's done like a shifty, broken security cam footage. But it does, again, it does the sort of thing Suicide Squad does with making it feel like a comic book, because there's like comic book style transitions and stuff, and it is very colourful. When it comes to like the costumes and the environments and stuff. But yeah, there's like CGI and stuff. But you also got Jack's film cost about 5 times what Kick-Ass did to make.
We do have to take that into consideration because I think you make a very good point in that, like, obviously it's not the best looking film ever, but I think for the budget, it looks as good as it possibly could, I think.
Yeah, and it wasn't made by a big studio. It was picked up after it was already made.
Yeah,
I do think it has its style that does overcome a lot of the dodgy visual stuff.
No, I completely agree. Yeah.
And Matthew Vaughn does bring a lot of energy that he has lost in his recent years with like Argyle and The King's Man.
We don't talk about that. I think that's a really.
I'm always talking about Argyle.
It's a really good point.
Who's the real Agent Argyle?
I had a co-worker tell me they rewatched it recently.
Right. Well, no, but I think that's a very good point to bring up, actually, because Kick-Ass, it all feels very tangible and very real, whereas in Argyle, it's just like, it just feels very, it just feels very light.
Documentary-esque.
Yeah.
It's like you're in the room with Henry Cavill's wig.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like there are people there actually doing the thing.
Yeah, because I think Vaughn works better on lower budgets.
Yeah.
Because, like, Layer Cake was a tiny budget British, and he managed to bring out a lot of style. Kick-Ass was the same. Stardust was, like, mid-budget. The first Kingsman.
Yeah.
And then once he was given too much money, it seems like his films were worse for it.
Yeah. No, I think I completely agree. Yeah. Right.
Must rewatch Argyle.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Right, time for the next category. We're moving on to our favourite scenes. So, Jack, what's your favourite scene from the Suicide Squad? I feel like there's a lot to pick from.
There's a few. Yeah, I don't know if I've got just one. I'm gonna scattershot 3 that came to mind straight away when I picked it. Harley's like a flowery, color-filled escape from when they're chained up and torturing her, with the Just a Gigolo playing in the background as she's like wiping out dudes with assault rifles, and James Gunn's doing all of his spinning camera work and blood's going everywhere, and she's just having the time of her life. I think like perfectly sums up Harley's kind of outlook and capturing what's going on in her mind as she's just killing all these dudes. Like, that's up there. The opening sequence when all of the C and D tier characters actually get wiped out is hilarious. Like, just seeing them all confidently go charge again and then getting immediately wiped out, which the first film did nothing of. You know, the one bloke who dies, Slipknot, the man who can climb anything.
No,
just
Jack, that's
one
a band.
guy. There's one band, one guy that no one cares about, like, dies half, you don't see anything, you just hear a pop in his head, you don't even see anything. Whereas this, it's like, no, this is, anyone can die at any point, and, you got Captain Boomerang getting wiped out. I've forgotten Pete Davidson's character in it, but he gets obliterated. Luckily, our boy Weasel does survive it. And yeah, it's good to see actual consequences that to the Suicide Squad. That, oh yeah, they are, they can get wiped out at any moment. So that's a great opening. And also probably the third favorite scene for me would probably be the Peacemaker and Rick Flag fight, where again the camera's like focused on Peacemaker's helmet and you're watching them fight in the reflection, and you get the moment where he's like, Peacemaker, what a joke, and it's sort of that moment of realization in like John Cena's face, and Peacemaker's like, he starts questioning sort of his whole moral thing. And yeah, there's so many to pick from. I could go on, but those three are like the ones that immediately came to mind for me.
Yeah. Just any scene with King Shark in it for me, I think.
And any scene with King Shark when he meets those little fish for the first time, that's great.
Yeah.
When he rips the dude in half, amazing. Like there's so many awesome like moments to pick from that film. Yeah, this is a struggle.
And also when Polka Dot Man envisions Starro as his mum.
We've all been there.
And all the squad. It's and you know the club scene, the bar scene where they first real bond as a team, and the dance floor, and he's picturing her all around, like you know, and then finally relax. It's just there's so many great scenes in it, and that's why it was impossible. I mean, let's say just go on, but there's so many perfect scenes to pick.
Yeah, A's cut would have had more.
Aya's cut would have had more in its 5-hour runtime.
Right, Dan. Favorite scene in Kick-Ass? Go, or you can have more than one because Jack had more than one.
Yeah, sorry, I completely.
So I will make, this was a film as well that came out that I was the perfect age, because I was 13 when this came out.
Yeah, me too.
I watched it countless times.
Yeah.
But the ones that always stick with me are Big Daddy's death and the attempted rescue, where you got the strobe, you got the night vision goggle, first person stuff. You got Nicolas Cage on fire, screaming comic book codes at Hit Girl for what to do, and then you got the really sad goodbye as he tells her good job and just slops his head over and dies. And it's like really well done with like the strobe lighting and the fire where it goes black and white, apart from the fire and him being burnt alive. But other stuff as well. Obviously I love the warehouse takedown with the music from 28 Days Later is used.
Yeah.
That's great and just shows off his brutality and just absolute lack of fucks when it comes to killing people. I also do love the opening scene of those two with the bulletproof true vest training.
Bullet train.
And it's not Sunday, Jack. Yeah, because he's got like negotiating like for ice cream. Like you can get shot in the chest 3 more times and then you'll get ice cream. And it really captures how twisted and fucked up, but also heartwarming their thing is.
Yeah. No, I mean I completely agree with you on the Big Daddy death scene. I think arguably one of the best scenes in a comic book film ever. I think.
Yeah, it's genuinely fucking heartbreaking.
It is. It's heartbreaking. It looks incredible. It's just so incredibly paced. Like, yeah, I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, because I watched both the films again in the past couple of weeks, and both of them just go by so quickly.
Yeah, yeah. I think especially like when you're kind of enjoying watching it as well, you just kind of
yeah,
it's by.
It's one of my comfort ones. That's like I can always just throw it on, even though I know it beat for beat, word for word, like Shaun the Dead and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Gamer, starring Gerard Butler.
That is a picture. That is a great. Yeah, still waiting for the cinema release of that.
Don't worry, Prince Charles will have it.
Prince Charles should have it.
Oh no, actually IMAX. I want to see those blown out visuals. I want to see the Bloodhound Gang scene with the Sims world on the IMAX screen.
That feels like a comic book movie, to be honest. That almost could have, like, if you told someone, Alex, I don't know if you know this film or if you've seen it, but
I have never heard of it.
You've never seen Gamer?
It's one of Gerard Butler's like best trashy action throwback ones.
Same guys who did the Crank films.
Yeah.
Same year as Crank 2.
Yeah, just after 300, like made him big, and yeah, it's good. It can almost be like a comic book fic.
It's like the nasty, like incredibly vulgar version of like Running Man.
Okay. Damn.
But like set as basically if the Running Man was a modern day video game where prisoners are controlled by nerdy kids and all the things that entail with that.
Well,
you're watching Gamer tonight.
You know what? Put it on my list. Right.
It's also the first film I watched with my partner.
Okay, so we're going to be moving on into the final category now. It is the wild card. So you have to come up with something that isn't part of the other categories as to why the your film should be put into the film vault. So Jack, what's your wild card?
So my wild card was the music and score of the film. So obviously James Gunn's known for his banger soundtracks, and also the score from John Murphy on this film is like a really gritty blend of like hard rock kind of riffing, and like you got the electronic stings as well. It's real big, loud sound, and obviously the picks from James Gunn, they're not as maybe as mainstream as some of the Guardians ones. Obviously, Guardians had some like 70s deep cuts that he was a fan of, but he also had like David Bowie and Electric Light Orchestra and stuff. But this one, you know, you've got the Pixies, you've got like the Johnny Cash tune that opens up the prison sequence at the start. You've got the Fratellis, like they have more than one song of Chelsea Dagger. You've got Rain, which is the sort of the grandson hip hop angle to it. It's a real good variety. And once again, like when I've watched the movie, like the few times I've watched it, I've got like most of the soundtrack downloaded because you know it's all these sort of deeper cuts. And it's what James Gunn, again, like along with his stylistic choices, you know him, he's the guy who picks the great music. And it just shows because obviously, with Superman now, everyone's listening to that punk rocker tune,
Yep.
which no one was thinking about before, but it perfectly fit. And there's so many great song choices here. There's also kind of like the blend of it's just a real blend of the classic rock stuff that he did with Guardians, but there's more of like a grungy kind of indie angle to this one, along with the John Murphy score. So yeah, I think soundtrack coupled with everything else I mentioned before is why the Suicide Squad is just an absolute banger.
Yeah, it's weird. Obviously John Murphy is composer of Kick-Ass as well.
Yeah, which
And
Dan messaged when we put it, yeah.
Suicide Squad was the first thing he did since that. He
Yeah,
disappeared for a decade.
Wow.
Yeah, Dan messaged me and was like, "Yeah, we both have the same score in our film picks," and I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah, John Murphy was great. He did the music for like 28 Days Later, Sunshine.
yeah,
He's amazing, and he just disappeared for a decade.
Sunshine, incredible score.
Oh yeah,
So-
I forgot the music from Sunshine's used in that as the strobe scene.
Yes, yeah, damn. I mean, if it's good, don't fix it. Like yeah,
yeah." Use it more than once.
yeah,
Yeah, there was a period where Surface to the Sun, was that the track?
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, that was reused in loads of things and loads of adverts and stuff.
yeah. No, I think you're right. I mean, like you said, James Gunn is just if you want good music in your film, James Gunn. Like,
He's always gunning for good music.
yeah.
Yeah, it's always going for good music.
Hashtag.
Well, he sort of picks the tunes sometimes before he actually writes, or he knows where the songs are going to go.
Yeah.
As he's writing it or before he even writes it, and I think planning that so much out around music just makes all of his films that's why every needle drop absolutely hits and never feels like forced. Like when, the amount of times we've heard like certain Queen songs or Beastie Boys, I don't I love the Beastie Boys. I love Sabotage, but I don't need to hear it in every action needle drop, whereas James Gunn's picking and
Yeah.
same with Don't Stop Me Now. I'm like, there's nothing better than the Shaun the Dead one of that. But we've seen it in like Shazam. You've seen it in so many like comic book ones as well. It's just like pick some like real variety.
Shaun of the Dead owns that song.
Shaun the Dead owns that song.
Not even Bohemian Rhapsody can use it.
But that's why he's just such a cool, and it's great because it opens up a whole wealth of new tunes to add to your playlist as well, and just a real synergy of music and movie. That's why I love it.
To just take it away from the Suicide Squad a second, I was genuinely shocked when in Superman when the Mr. Terrific on the beach scene started, and 5 years time by Nora and the Whale. I was like, damn, that is the tune.
Brilliant.
Literally tune. And
you'd never think to put that song with a scene like that, but it works.
What is the deal with the Iggy Pop thing with the song from Superman?
Oh, it's on Spotify now.
It is on there now because I've just got the original
that was the
on
other
there.
thing. for some reason it was only available on the US Spotify, the Iggy version, but no, it is on there now. Because I
Sorry,
was listening to it this morning.
just need to add it.
Yeah,
To the
it's the US
Danny B
version of the
playlist.
album. They've finally added it. But yeah. Anyway,
The
back
white
to
nonsense. Cheers, Starmer.
Right.
Added.
Wild card for Kick-Ass.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go with it's a big improvement on the source material.
Okay. Like that.
Because I've read because Mark Miller wrote the graphic novel.
Yeah.
And I enjoy a lot of his stuff, but he verges just on juvenile edginess in the worst ways at times.
Yeah. I mean,
and the film, there's some horrific stuff in the comic,
Yep.
like the
Yeah, it's very
girlfriend in
edgy.
it, like when he tells the truth about not being gay, she decides to like send him videos of her blowing other guys and stuff, and it's just really crass and juvenile, and they cut out a lot of stuff. And Big Daddy's backstory as well in the comic, that's all a lie, and he's just some deranged nerd who just wanted to do something exciting, but they kept in that he was actually telling the truth about needing to, like, his life was ruined by the Mark Strong.
Yeah.
It's does all the right things, and the sequel film as well. The second graphic novel was horrendous.
Yeah.
But the film is not great, but it, again, cuts out a lot of the horrific stuff that just wouldn't work well in the film.
I remember when the film first came out that I liked it so much that I was on holiday somewhere in Wales and I was like, I'm going to use my holiday spending money to buy the graphic novels. So I got like the first, I got Kick-Ass 1 and 2, and I remember reading the second one and just, I can't remember the first one too much, but there's some stuff in the second one which they
There's the playground scene.
Yeah, there's some stuff that they kind of allude to in the second film, but don't go as far as the comic books did. But obviously, very glad that it didn't, because
Yeah, I'm glad as well.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, because there's the bit with because they cut off the dog, like Jim Carrey's dog's head, and put it on his body and stuff.
Yeah,
yeah, like the Mark Miller is
for it.
like he's got good ideas, but he's just too much of an edgelord at times.
Yeah, and to his complete detriment, I think. So I think you're right in terms of like that. I mean, they don't necessarily like water it down because it is still very graphic and still very kind of
no, they change up and add things that work,
Yeah.
rather than just removing stuff.
Exactly. So I think in that sense, it's still very kind of, it still has a semblance of fidelity to the graphic novel.
I mean, I've still got it in front of me. I've got them all in hardbacks up there.
Yeah, I don't think they're probably somewhere, but I couldn't recall.
The third one is actually like
Still need to read the
tones
third
it down
one.
and ends the story.
Yeah, the third. I always thought that they were going to make a third one because I think Hit Girl is like a main, like the main focus of the third one, isn't she? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, and it does end. I mean, like the whole Mark Miller like comic verse is just like it's like Wanted and Kingsman and all that take place in the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually all Mark Miller's stuff. The adaptations are better. Like Wanted is just the most nihilistic, edgy, horrific thing. Kind of like the Boys comics as well.
Yeah. Right. Well, thank you very much, guys. While I adjudicate in my own brain, why don't you guys have a little discussion about some of your other favorite comic book films? Any honorable mentions that you might have?
Yeah. I had a few that I was gonna pick. Elliot said that we couldn't do The Dark Knight, which I know we both obviously was probably going to be on the top lists. But, my other favorites would be Spider-Man 2, the the Sam Raimi one. I would also throw in Guardians 1, which I love. Blade, first Blade movie, I'd say is one of my favorites. You've got, Kick-Ass, to be honest. Like, I love Kick-Ass. What else? There's Logan. That was on my radar to pick. X-Men 2 is a banger. Days of Future Past is fantastic. Winter Soldier. I'm a big comic book fan, so there's a lot of these that are like, happily pick. Like even ones that I know are like trash but great fun, like 2003
Four stick.
Daredevil, Fan Force. Like there's so many. Obviously, Into the Spider-Verse as well. That's one of my favorites. Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rise. I love all those. And actually, and Dan's a fan as well. The animated Batman Mask of the Phantasm is.
Yeah, you made me watch that. That was great.
I did, yeah. I was like, that is one of the best adaptations of Batman we've had, and
I mean, it's for
that was
children.
almost going to be my pick.
It's animated, so it's for babies. But yeah,
It's yeah, but there's so many to pick from, and I know people like the MCU is kind of very much a mixed bag, but there's so many great comic book flicks, and that's why I kind of think there's a lot to choose from. But I thought, I'll go for this one to go with a bit of a Superman theme. Yeah.
yeah. I was considering going Rogue. It's like, but a lot of the choices Jack said is like, because obviously we're like the same age and grew up watching the same stuff. Yeah, so obviously like Spidey 2, Dark Knight, Logan. But I was thinking of throwing in some Rogue ones like A History of Violence.
Yeah, there's lots of based on graphic
Yeah,
novels and comics. Like there's so many.
yeah. The Killer.
Technically, yeah, I mean Men in Black. That's also based on comic books. There's
Oh,
loads that
the David
Ninja
Fincher, The
Turtles.
Killer, not the John Woo
Not the
one.
John Woo.
Yeah,
Was that was based on a comic book, and then they realized because your mind automatically defaults to Marvel and DC.
yeah. You forget things like The Crow.
Yeah, The Crow. There's like Sin City, a banger. Like I love that first Sin City movie.
Wanted, Kingsman,
Wanted, Watchmen, Kingsman.
From
There's
Hell.
so many from. Oh god,
I
I
don't
can't
think I've
remember
ever
anything
seen
about
that.
that. Have you seen it? Have you not seen it? Oh, it's mid.
Yeah, I'm just looking.
Actually, V for Vendetta. That's
Yeah,
great. I
V for
love.
Vendetta.
Like a lot of people prefer that to the graphic novel, and I could totally see why. Like V for Vendetta is brilliant.
Then you got films that feel like comic book stuff, like John Wick. That whole
Yeah,
universe feels like some graphic novel.
yeah. Like there's
Red
it's
One.
gotta see that on the IMAX.
Yeah,
But yeah, like there's so there's and I think like I said there's so many people, but then they obviously it balances out because there is a lot of like naff comic book movies as well, obviously, and a lot of just I mean, don't get me wrong, as I mentioned, like the Daredevil isn't great, but it's great fun. The first Ghost Rider, it's not good, but I have fun with it. But there is a lot of like well, there's nothing worse when they're mediocre and boring, which is unfortunately the case for quite a few of them. But there are a lot of standouts.
I've got a good
Yeah,
question for you.
hey.
Comic books that haven't been adapted yet that you'd like to see.
Ooh. Well, speaking of Mark Miller, Super Crooks,
Yeah,
Superior,
yeah. Nemesis.
Nemesis. I still need to read Nemesis.
Oh, it's nasty.
There's like certain particular issues or runs of comics that I'd like to see adapted, like Batman Noel.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I was
like
thinking more like in the lines of stuff that hasn't been like characters.
hasn't been adapted at all. Yeah,
Like a couple like Berserker. That's probably going to happen. That I want to see.
yeah, Keanu Reeves one.
Seeing what I got here.
House of Mystery. Like, I mean, I love a lot of DC's old horror like like they, and it also like sort of opens up doors for Constantine and Swamp Thing. But like House of Mystery and House of the Secrets, old DC horror ones could be really cool to play around with. Like where anything horror.
is Killing the Children.
Yeah, still need to read that.
That is like one of my favorite reads I found in the past year.
Yeah. There's plenty there's loads that they could add, loads of image ones because there are like constantly new image graphic novels getting released all the time.
And there's
Yeah,
plenty that could make amazing video games as well.
yeah.
Where's our
There's so
Kingsman
much.
video game?
Yeah.
That would be fun.
That's we got.
Has he decided?
I have. Okay, so it is time to reveal the results. So I have deliberated. I have given a score on each round, and it is kind of who. Anyway, the winner And the film that is going into Film Focus Online's film vault is Kick-Ass.
He's won again.
He's won
2 in a
again.
row.
I'm not gonna lie, it was the wild card that tipped it over the edge for me. I was very impressed with the
that's a good
argument
point.
of the adaptation kind of being better than the graphic novel. I thought that was
Always the case with Miller.
no, I just thought it was a very good angle to take, and I think you're completely right. And I think for that reason, for a film to be as bold as to kind of take its source material and really kind of
Do you know what's funny as well?
yeah.
I didn't do any notes or prepping for this, and I was originally going to say the score and soundtrack, and then Jack took that. So
Did you really? Oh no.
Damn.
And to be honest with you, I probably could have said better than the source material as well, because some of the Suicide Squad comics
I mean,
are
that's
pretty.
a bit harder because it wasn't
There's so
specifically
many.
adapting.
Yeah,
that's
there's
true.
so many volumes. But yeah, no, that was a good pick. I think when you said that last night, that's a good angle.
But no, but I
and
mean,
I could back it up because I've read them.
I mean, it was a great battle, great rumble tumble.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kick-Ass is going to be going into the film vault, Film Focus Online's film vault. Very well done.
I'm wearing my
Dan.
crown.
Oh, he's putting his crown back on.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for joining me, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure again, as always.
Yeah, it's been great fun.
And also, sorry, the Suicide Squad doesn't exist now. It's gone forever.
There goes my steel book, literally gone.
Yeah, it's disappeared.
Right out the door.
James,
Dan's lost his as well.
James Gunn doesn't exist. Here we go.
But I get to keep
No, he
my
still
very
Alchemy
nice.
still exists.
I get to-
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Kick-Ass.
Nice. It's kind of blended into the background a little
We
bit.
can't really see it, but I know what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Nice.
Oh,
Amazing. But yes, thank you very much for listening. You can catch us on social media by searching Film Focus Online. You can search for us anywhere, Film Focus Online. We release this podcast every so often. We don't just do the film vault, we talk about new releases and all that kind of stuff. So if you're listening, go and check out some of the other stuff as well. We've got some great analysis from all of our writers here at Film Focus. And you'll probably find all of our social medias through Film Focus Online's on Twitter and Process of Elimination. So we're all over there and keeping an eye on what's going on with the releases, both on the website and on the podcast here. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
See you soon.
I will also say, as the winner, Jack, you have to watch Kick-Ass 2 tonight.
Oh, to be fair, it is long overdue a rewatch, that second movie.
I think you did the first one a couple years ago, didn't you?
I did, yeah, I did. It is genuinely that second one I haven't logged on Letterboxd yet, so it's definitely on the rewatch pile, so I might actually follow up with that this evening.
I saw that twice at the cinema.
You poor soul.
I
don't think it was fine. I
Yeah.
think it's fine.
I
haven't
think I was
seen it in
deluded
ages.
just as how much I liked the first one when I saw it.
Yeah. No, I'll give that a rewatch. Cool. Well,
Awesome.
thanks for listening.
Thank you, and goodbye.
The King again.
Bye.